hard to follow Mr. Bridgewater. I always tell him I'll carry your bags wherever you go. And my mom is in the room over here. Probably some of you have met her. You were right. I should have learned Spanish. You're absolutely correct. I'll just be very brief. Number one, I thank you guys because there's a lot of people from different organizations here that came out. That's the importance of what's happening. This is a very historic time for us. Bridgewater, he said some things about industries that we weren't able to take advantage of. If you remember Bill Gates in that garage, if you Google that, up until when we received computers, there was a very big gap in time. And we are essentially, the same thing's happening in cannabis, and I know it's happening because on May 14th, I was in California, doing my research and development in California, and that's when New Jersey decided that they were going to put in a recreational bill. And I said, wow, we need to start talking about this in New Jersey. But then when I went to visit my local barbershop, and if you've been to a local barbershop, it's a community hub for a lot of things, my barbers didn't know what was happening. They had no clue. And these are, I'm not gonna name my barber, I have a couple of them, but these are individuals who are involved in the gray market, or whatever market you wanna call it. However, they're not informed, and they're part of the market. And so in New Jersey, we make up about 20% of the population, so we're about 2 million folks, Latinos in New Jersey. We're underrepresented in patient counts. So we have 9 million people in New Jersey. We only have 15,000 people that are in the medical marijuana program. But we're arresting 25,000 people a year for having marijuana on them. So there's a big disconnect here, and it's all because of education. Nelson and I went up to North Bergen, and we visited a park, and we were talking to people, and the reactions were very interesting. Some folks were, yes, you're right. Some folks said, no, God, that's ungodly. It makes people kill people. And I was like, I read about this stuff in books, but there's actually people who believe this in this county. And this is we consider this to be a very progressive area, right? So it's a little, so there's a big gap in education, and that's why we put together this event. And we will continue to put together these events for the community, because if our local politicians and our local nonprofit organizations aren't going to have these conversations, we will be more than happy to do it for them. And we will let them know that we're having these events. And we want to work with the community. We want everyone involved. I spoke to every politician in Hudson County. None of them are here, which is fine, but it's all about bringing awareness. The more people we can get aware, the more we can push the dial. And I just have to thank all the organizations who came. Of course, Nelson told me 3 months ago we should do this, and I said, let's do it then. And we actually did it. So thank you, Nelson. Mia, who left, I'm speaking in English, so you know my Spanish is really bad. Mia, a fantastic job from Women Grow. Tanya's here from Women Grow. We have Jason. Jason is from Minority Cannabis Business Association. We have DPAs in the room. We have a lot of people that came to New Jersey because, guys, like Marcel said, when you leave here, the first question you should start asking your local officials is, what are we doing to take advantage of this economic shift that's about to happen? Are we going to be a part of this, or are we just going to be customers? Are we going to just be clients, or are we going to be owners? Because it was built on our backs over the past 40 years. And I'll leave you with this. Although cannabis at some point is going to be a commodity across the country, and I mean commodity as price. The price is going to come down, but we are more than a commodity. We're more than just some artifact or some product. Cannabis is a culture. So like the Cannabis Culture Association, you got the name down. But this is a culture because there's people in this room who would not talk to each other if it wasn't for cannabis. If we were all drinking in here, we probably wouldn't have the same conversations. So I thank you for your time. I mean, I literally grew up, when you walk out of here, I grew up in Hoboken as a kid in a poor city that got gentrified, and the fact that there was an education gap, we couldn't participate in it. But we're going to participate now. So thank you for your time. So if you guys want to mingle for a little bit, we have the room until 7 o'clock. And talk to any of the speakers, ask questions, vibe out, have a good time. Thank you very much.